Story start. On a warm morning in the village of Enugu, the cheerful laughter of two siblings filled the air. Amara's bright yellow dress sparkled in the sunlight as she skipped along the dirt path, her beads jingling softly with every step. Birds chirped melodiously from the trees, and the scent of fresh dew lingered in the air. Marco quietly followed her, his small hands clutching a wooden toy their father had carved. The sky was a brilliant blue, dotted with fluffy white clouds, as if nature itself was smiling down on them. "Hurry up, Marco," Amara called, her voice ringing with joy. Marco smiled and quickened his pace, the bond between them as vibrant as the colors of their village. The siblings had adjusted perfectly to the simple yet peaceful rhythm of village life. Amara was always the leader, full of energy and ideas, while Marco was her quiet shadow, observing and learning from her every move. Together they explored every corner of their small village, from the bustling market to the quiet riverbank. Their bond was unshakable, and the entire village admired how close they were. "Someday, Marco, we'll go beyond the hills," Amara would say, pointing to the distant horizon. "Do you think it's as beautiful as here?" Marco would ask. Amara would nod confidently. Even more so. That day, Marco ran excitedly to show Amara a small toy he had just received. It was a tiny wooden car, its wheels expertly crafted to roll smoothly. "Look, Amara," he said, his voice bursting with excitement. Amara knelt to examine the toy, her eyes lighting up. "This is amazing, Marco. Let's play with it by the well." Together, they spent hours racing the toy along the dusty ground, their laughter echoing through the village. The villagers passing by couldn't help but smile at their joy. "Those two," an elderly woman said, "are inseparable." One afternoon, the siblings sat by the river, sharing their dreams. The river's gentle current sparkled under the sun, and the sound of birds chirping filled the air. Amara dipped her toes into the cool water and sighed contentedly. "One day, I want to be a teacher," she said, her voice full of determination. Marco looked at her with admiration. "You'll be the best teacher ever," he replied softly. "What about you, Marco?" Amara asked. Marco shrugged. "I just want to be where you are." Amara smiled and splashed him with water, and soon they were both laughing uncontrollably. Nearby, a fisherman watched them with a knowing grin. "Dreams start small," he muttered to himself, casting his net into the water. Their parents were always busy, leaving the siblings alone most of the time. Their father worked tirelessly in the fields, his hands calloused but determined. Their mother spent her days weaving beautiful fabrics to sell at the market, her fingers moving deftly across the loom. But this solitude only strengthened their bond. They would create their own adventures, exploring the village and imagining grand tales of bravery and magic. "This tree," Amara declared one day, "is a castle, and we are its rulers." Marco, holding a stick as his sword, nodded. "And no one can take it from us," he added, their voices full of conviction. In the warmth of an evening meal, the family came together, sharing laughter and stories. The aroma of roasted yams and spicy soup filled the air as they sat around the low wooden table. Their father recounted tales of his youth, making them laugh with his exaggerated gestures, while their mother gently corrected him with a playful smile. "That's not how it happened," she teased, to which he replied, "It's better this way." These moments became the happiest memories of their lives in the village, a reminder of the love that bound them together. Amara and Marco would often recount these stories to each other, giggling as they added their own twists. Amara loved storytelling. She often gathered the village children, captivating them with tales of cunning tortoises and brave warriors. She would act out the characters, her arms flailing dramatically, while Marco sat nearby, listening intently with a small, proud smile. And then, Amara exclaimed, "The tortoise outsmarted the lion." The children gasped and clapped, their eyes wide with wonder. Marco, ever the observer, whispered, "You should write these down one day." Amara laughed. "Maybe I will." One morning, the siblings worked in the village garden, planting flowers. The garden was alive with the buzzing of bees and the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze. Amara carefully placed a vibrant red flower into the soil, patting it down gently, while Marco filled a jug with water from the nearby well. "This will make the garden so beautiful," Amara said, her voice filled with excitement. Marco nodded, pouring water over the newly planted flowers. "Just like you," he said quietly, making Amara laugh. Villagers passing by often stopped to admire their dedication, murmuring about how hardworking the two were. During a village dance performance, the siblings were in the heart of the action. Amara danced joyfully at the center of the stage, her dress swirling around her as she moved to the rhythm of the drums. Marco, sitting with the musicians, played a small drum, his hands moving expertly to keep the beat alive. The villagers clapped and cheered, their faces glowing with pride and happiness. The performance brought everyone together, a celebration of their shared culture and unity. "You were amazing," Marco said afterward. Amara grinned. "So were you." On a quiet night under the stars, Amara pointed to the sky, her eyes wide with wonder. "Look, Marco, do you see the big star over there? That's where dreams are born," she said, her voice filled with awe. Marco leaned back on the grass, gazing at the twinkling lights above. "What do you dream about, Amara?" he asked. Amara smiled. "I dream about a world where everyone is happy and together, just like us." Marco reached out and took her hand. "That's a beautiful dream," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Years passed, and the siblings grew into guiding figures within their community. Amara dedicated herself to educating the village children, her voice ringing out in the classroom as she taught them to read and write. Marco supported her every step of the way, repairing desks, carrying books, and encouraging the children with his quiet kindness. Together, they transformed the lives of many, planting seeds of hope and knowledge. In the final scene, the siblings sat together under a tree, reminiscing about their happiest days. The tree's broad branches provided shade from the midday sun, and the sound of distant laughter carried on the breeze. Amara smiled at Marco, her eyes shining with gratitude. "No matter what life brought, we were always side by side," she said. Marco nodded, his heart full. "And we always will be," he replied. Ending message. This story reflects the simplicity and depth of village life. It highlights the importance of family love, the bond of siblings, and the power of dreams. Paired with the visuals, this story will inspire and touch the hearts of its audience,